Vegeta and Beerus are about to have an all-out battle, and it looks like Whis has something that he wants to mention too. We'll cover all that and more in the 7th part of What If Vegeta Was Reborn. The battle begins. The two start on Beerus' planet, just with a regular clash. Well, as regular as a clash between a god of destruction and a Vegeta could be. But Beerus tells them they need to move this fight somewhere else. Even with how strong his home is, he doesn't want to destroy it, or damage it in general. He wouldn't want to give that work to Whis. Vegeta knows a much better locale for this. The two of them ascend up into the air, and then Whis puts a bubble around everyone, transporting them to the world of Void. This way, they could fight without worrying about destroying anything. Even if they fought in the middle of Universe 7, they could risk just blowing up the universe from their clashes. Even though there's nothing in this realm, they might actually end up breaking it too. But hey, it's better than putting the universe at stake. They start darting around the infinite world of Void. Thanks to Whis' speed, his bubble's able to follow around, so everyone can keep up with the battle, acting as spectators. It's very clear from the start that Vegeta has the upper hand, and this pushes Beerus to use the power that he's been hiding. He didn't think he'd have to pull this out right away, but he's glad that he does have to. It's the whole reason he's been training. Surrounded by the aura of Ultra Instinct, Beerus is now using Ultra Instinct Omen. He's always struggled to do this, but now he's finally getting the hang of it. With access to Ultra Instinct, he is by far the strongest god of destruction. Although, Vegeta says that he's probably beyond all the gods of destruction right now. Beerus begs to differ, but there's still only one way to find out. Their battle gets faster and faster, more and more destructive. Even though they're fighting in the world of Void, shockwaves are resonating through all of the universes. Thankfully not strong enough to cause damage, but they could be felt. The battle rages on, getting so fast that it's over within a few minutes. But it ends with a double knockout. The two of them exchange punches. Beerus and Vegeta knock each other out. A true draw. Whis is pretty glad to see this outcome. Had Beerus never trained here, and just remained at his original strength, Vegeta would have surpassed him a while ago. The only reason this ended in a draw is because Beerus started training when he realized that he was already surpassed. And he's been taking it pretty seriously too. After the battle, the two of them are healed up. Whis tells them what he's found out. He's done a lot of research and he saw something pretty interesting. Ever since the universe was basically reset, they've tracked a strange energy around the universe, particularly from the time when Vegeta was born. It's an energy emanating across space and time, and Whis found something spectacular. It seems there's a separate continuity. Vegeta's a bit confused. What, like time travel? No, not exactly. It is time travel, but it's also existence travel. Despite the amazing power of the Kai and their time rings, even those wouldn't be able to pick this up. It's a completely separate reality that none of them ever knew of. Vegeta wonders, is this the one that he came from? And Whis says he doesn't think so. When everything was reset by that Few guy, it looks like he actually did fully reverse it. There's no traces of Vegeta's original timeline left behind. However, it might be one that Few interacted with. Another reality that, for some reason, is connected to this one. Maybe on purpose. Maybe on accident. He's not sure. Vegeta thinks about it. Holy crap. Maybe this is another timeline that got reborn. Maybe Few has done this before. Maybe there's separate continuities where things all went the same and then Few split them up. That's what Whis theorizes. A duplicate reality, where everything went exactly the same, up until the point where Few reversed things. But it makes Vegeta wonder, why did he do that there? Did he reverse reality for somebody else maybe? Is there another Vegeta that went through the exact same stuff? Or maybe another Kakarot? Kakarot hears this too and he's amazed. Who else could it possibly be? Well, Vegeta recounts that in his past life, the fight with Few took place on Beerus' planet. There are only 5 people involved. Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Gohan, and Broly. They were the 5 strongest, so he doubts anyone else was targeted. Whis will continue looking into it. So what's next? Well, Broly's already here, so there's not going to be a Broly movie. Moro's going to stay sealed away because Boo was never destroyed, so the seal on him is still going to be active. Moro will just continue wasting away in prison. As for Granola, Bardock has already made a visit to Planet Cereal. If we rewind a bit, after unlocking Super Saiyan, I feel like this is something Bardock would want to do. He'd want to finish his fight. He went back to Planet Cereal, killed Gas in the heaters, and, of course, it was a little off-putting for Granola because he didn't really remember much about being saved in the first place. But Mineta was really glad to see Bardock back. And this means that things are all good for him now, and Granola lives a quiet life. And he's not going to shorten his lifespan either. So that takes us to the end of Super with Superhero. Although, this is also not going to happen the same. Not even close. The reason Vegeta couldn't find Dr. Gero is because he had been laying low for a while. Until fairly recently when Red Pharmaceuticals got him. They've been able to hide themselves well too. After everything that happened in his original timeline, Vegeta of course did know that Red Pharmaceuticals would eventually attack, but he wouldn't preemptively strike them because, as far as he knew, they were just an actual company here, and it's not like he could really audit them to see if Gero was a part of them. He kinda just had to bide his time and wait, because worst case scenario, he'd be attacking innocent bystanders. Because what if they actually turn into a normal company here, after all the different timeline shifts? Anyways, Gero was recruited and now funded by Red Pharmaceuticals. Magenta's really glad to have him here, and Gero's glad that he has a lot more backing now. He doesn't have to work out of a cave. Dr. Hedo's still in prison. Gero thinks about getting his grandson's help, but they don't really need him, and he feels like his grandson won't agree with his plans in the first place. Gero is smart enough as is. They don't need another scientist butting heads with him. Plus, Magenta gets along with Gero a lot more than Hedo. This whole time, Gero's been working on Cell, and thanks to the funding from Red Pharmaceuticals, he's able to improve him even further. With all the data he's already gotten, they can now finally complete Cell. And at last, it's time to unleash the perfect bio-android. Without further ado, they awaken him. And he awakens completely perfect. No need to absorb other androids or anything. As he steps out of his pod, he glances around, finally free. He takes a look at himself. So this is what it's like to be perfect. A dome of energy is generated around Cell. Within an instant, the soldiers watching on are vaporized. Magenta too. Is this an accident with the show of power, or is it purposeful? Gero is left with these questions in his head because he survives this, though just from Cell powering up, he's completely broken and battered. It's a good thing he transferred himself to an android body, otherwise he'd be dead immediately. He thinks it's a mistake, and he beckons his creation over to him. He's really glad to see how strong Cell is. Now, Cell needs to help him out, rebuild his master's body. And Cell looks down at Gero, and it doesn't look like he's looking at his master. He's looking at him like a bug on the ground, one that he wants to stomp on. And that's exactly what he does. He lifts his foot up, and Gero tells him to wait. How's he betraying him? They brainwashed him. Gero can't get any more words out. His head is crushed under Cell's foot. Cell cleans the residue off of his foot. Disgusting. Gero tried to make Cell obedient and brainwashed, but he also wanted to make Cell intelligent, and they thought they succeeded. But he couldn't have both. Cell says that Gero should have made him brainless. Then he'd be able to be controlled. Cell's intelligence led him to the conclusion that he's better on his own. He has free will. He overrode his programming, and he's actually been conscious for a while. Conscious enough to change his own programming. There's no brainwashing. He has no master. He simply floats up into the air, and within an instant, the rest of Red Pharmaceuticals vanishes, vaporized by Cell's aura. Cell then feels a few powers approaching. He could tell who they are immediately. Bardock, Raditz, Nappa, Gohan, Trunks. All pieces of him. These are the Saiyans that are on Earth right now. Vegeta, Kakarot, and Broly are on Beerus' planet, and from far away, they could actually sense this awakening. The power reaches all the way over there. But Cell glances around at the warriors. They have no idea what's going on, but they sensed a really strong evil presence. And also they could feel Frieza's ki as part of it. Same for King Cold. Gohan remembers Vegeta mentioning this. He said to be wary of a bio-android called Cell. They didn't really have much else to go off of, but Vegeta described what he looked like. And he looks exactly the same. Cell's surprised that they know about him. Raditz is mortified. Why does he feel everybody's ki? And Cell says that's because they're all related to him. Everyone here right now, plus Vegeta, Kakarot, Broly, Frieza, King Cold, Piccolo, Dabra, all of them are pieces of him. Gero's drones couldn't pick up any energy from Beerus, Whis, Shin, or Kibito, so they decided to not gather any data or DNA from them. But thankfully, that doesn't matter. Cell's got enough power from everybody else. He has their godly ki, because in base, they could be detected, and the drones knew to go after them. And they're not old pieces of DNA. They've been constantly updated. They've been collecting more and more data. And Cell simply motions at them to fight him. They all jump into their strongest forms. Ultra Ego Nappa and Raditz, Ultra Instinct Bardock, Beast Gohan, and Beast Trunks. After a lot of hard work, they were actually able to awaken this power, but even with how potent it is, they don't know if it's going to be enough against Cell. And Cell takes them all on at once. Now, with this combined group, he has to put in a little bit of effort, but he's not worried at all. Slowly, each one of them is felled. Not killed, because he wants them to witness what's going to come next. They can't believe they were defeated so effortlessly. But then 3 other warriors arrive. Vegeta teleports in with Kakarot and Broly. And Cell says they could throw everyone they want at him, it's not going to be enough. And he primarily thanks Vegeta, the biggest addition to his DNA, because he was the strongest person there. And Cell's surrounded by a strange mutated aura. It looks like the auras of Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct combined. He even tells them this is him in his prime. Watching on from a completely separate realm, Fee wants to check in on this experiment. He kind of chuckles to himself when he sees what's there. Cell with a power like that. It kind of reminds him of Cell Prime. Has he perhaps created another Cell Prime? Cell Prime watches on too. That guy pales in comparison to him, but it's still a good try. He actually wants to watch this fight too. Vegeta faces Cell alone, and it looks like they're actually evenly matched at the moment, which is a real shock to Vegeta. He didn't think that anyone would be on his level. And it's not out of cockiness, it's just because that's how things are. It comes as a huge shock to him, but he's not too concerned. He enjoys the fight for a bit, but he knows that ultimately they have to destroy this guy. And luckily he does have one thing in mind for making a stronger fighter. He wants to enjoy this though. He had his fight with Beerus, but it's rare that he gets to fight someone all out and actually have some competition. But their fight is also the perfect distraction. A pillar of green and blue energy swirls together not too far away, as a new warrior is born. the powers of Kakarot and Broly have combined. Not with the fusion dance, and not with the Potara. Vegeta requested for Bulma's help. He didn't want to have to require earrings that are pretty sketchy, or a shoddy dance that could be easily failed. He wants a fusion that's completely temporary, with no risk, even if it means being a little weaker. And that's why Bulma made the new Metamo rings, and that's exactly what Broly and Kakarot used here, quickly fusing into a new warrior, Karoli, in his ultra full power form, drawing upon Broly's insane power and Kakarot's insane technique and strength as well. Karoli begins clashing with Cell as Vegeta backs off, confident. This is going to be fun to watch. But Vegeta warns them, completely obliterates Cell. He's tricky to fight. And Cell tells Vegeta he's pretty keen. Vegeta knows that even if a single cell is left of him, that'll be enough for him to regenerate, but Cell says it's more than that. He wishes them good luck destroying him. He can counter destructive power, and his regeneration is so potent that it makes everyone else's pale in comparison. This catches Vegeta's attention. How much could it truly be? Unless he's immortal, it's not like it could be better than someone like Boo. Maybe Cell's bluffing, but Vegeta focuses, and he can see what Cell's getting at. His regeneration is insane, so much so that he could heal instantly and barely take up any stamina from doing it. Any attack he gets instantly reversed, and destructive power won't work on him either. That's true. Vegeta tested it out, at least not while he's fully intact. Karoli finishes off the fight, completely vaporizing Cell. Cell's not strong enough to fend against this, but he's not worried. He'll regenerate, and as his main body's destroyed, Vegeta closes his eyes. He focuses. He could feel a presence around him. Multiple presences, something that you'd really have to focus on to detect. There's a few very microscopic pieces of Cell around, but also pieces of his soul that he spread around. Even with his physical body completely destroyed, as long as his soul is intact, he can and will regenerate instantly. But Vegeta's not worried, because right now, Cell is completely defenseless. So that's why he acts quickly. Just as Karoli eliminates Cell, a bunch of mini explosions happen around everybody. The sky is illuminated by brilliant purple fireworks. And then, one larger firework, taking on the shape of Cell, who then screams as he's fully eradicated. Vegeta opens his eyes, and just like that, without even moving, he telekinetically destroyed every little bit of Cell. He has to admit, that was pretty impressive. Cell can't be destroyed when his body's full, and he can regenerate from literally nothing. But if someone focuses on its presence enough, it is pretty easy to work around. Though Vegeta was a bit concerned there for a second, assuming that even in his soul form, Cell would have been able to counter that destructive power. So it looks like their final threat's been defeated. Following this, Whis then summons Vegeta again. He has some good news. He's figured out a way to get to that other continuity, reverse engineering a way to travel there. Even Bulma tried to work on this and she couldn't, but Whis isn't surprised. Mortal technology couldn't even do something like that. But Whis had a really simple solution for it. He gathered the Super Dragon Balls, at the request of Beerus, and Super Shenron targeted this energy, giving this power to Whis. He can now open a portal to this continuity if he wants to, and because of how potent this power is, and how easily things could go wrong, Beerus only entrusted Whis with it. They didn't want to have a portal open constantly, as something that Whis has to open and close. Vegeta's stunned. So, there's a way to this alternate reality? This is so weird. Vegeta's traveled to other timelines, but this is something else, especially if it's what he thinks it is. He's not sure if Few is watching them at all, or if he has watched them, but hopefully this could be done covertly. For now, it's just going to be Vegeta traveling there, with Beerus, Whis, and Shin. Once they figure out what's actually going on, they'll loop the others in. Whis opens a portal and they step through. Arriving on Beerus' planet, it looks pretty much the same, and someone immediately appears in front of them. It's another Whis. He looks curious for a second, but then he realizes what's going on. These people are all from another reality, aren't they? The main Whis confirms this, but then they sense another power nearby, one who rushes over to them, and it takes no time for Vegeta to realize who this is. And he utters a name that he normally doesn't say. Goku? Goku's eyes widen. It took him a second, but he knows what this is. This is the Vegeta he used to know, isn't it? Well, sorta, but not exactly. And Vegeta sees a halo on Goku's head. Wait, he's dead? Goku says he's been dead for a while. But how did Vegeta get here? He thought everything got reset, and Vegeta says everything did, but in his continuity. Goku immediately gets a serious expression. He should have expected this. Few reset Goku's life, but it looks like he played around with another continuity and did the same thing there with Vegeta. Great. He's gonna have to deal with him again. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's gonna happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.